Huesera, the Bone Woman.
Lo que te está pasando es de lo más normal.
The Bone Woman is a psychological horror Spanish flick about a woman going through the stressful process of getting pregnant, being pregnant, and dealing with newborns. I'll spoil this one a bit, but I'll be quick about it, so up to y'all if you want to stick around. Let's get spooky. So the movie focuses on Valeria and her husband Raul, and they're trying to get pregnant and have a kid. For the most part, everything seems fine, but Valeria is haunted by this entity that seems to move around, cracking their bones. Valeria also happens to have a stress habit of cracking her bones. Connected? Yeah, obviously. On top of that, we are introduced to Octavia, an old ex-lover of Valeria's, who pretty much represents the other life that she pretty much left behind after she decided to really change herself after, I think, her brother died. They don't mention this much, but it is brought up once or twice. What doesn't help Valeria's situation is that her family just sucks. Her sister being the worst, bringing up that she's not really a kid person or doesn't really like kids, or that her biological clock was ticking right after Valeria gets pregnant. Her mom really isn't much better either. She does have a nice aunt, and that helps her out a lot, and she occasionally runs back to Octavia for a little comfort and some carpet cleaning, if you get my drift.
Giggity. What? Nothing, it's stupid.
You would think that after giving birth, Valeria's situation would get better, but nope, the problems are still there, and she either didn't really want to be a mother, or it's not like what she thought it would be, or she really underestimated what it would really be like. She has tried and mostly failed to deal with this never-ceasing entity, and turns to her aunt's witch doctor friends for help. They do put her through some extreme stuff, and it ends up working, but I think doing it alone destroyed her marriage, and she moves out of the house. And the movie ends. Pretty anticlimactic and just a bit depressing. Not that I have anything against super depressing movies, but it seems pretty obvious from the beginning that the entity was a manifestation of her stress or took on something that related to her from the beginning, but never really became anything more than that. So there was no build up. Also, Valeria doesn't really change in the movie either. It's not really stated if she's moving out of the place because she decided to, because it was for the best, or that her husband had enough and kicked her out. She gets called out for being indecisive before and being a phony, but you would think that that would kind of build up to some kind of payoff of her being decisive or her being her true self, but that doesn't really happen. There was a good scare or two in this flick, but that's just not enough for me. In short, the protagonist doesn't really grow much, the antagonist doesn't really grow much. There was a scene where I was anxious about what was going to happen, so the movie does some things well, but it mostly just wasn't enough. This isn't getting a strong recommendation from me, even in a very specific genre of a Hispanic horror movie. If you want a recommendation, go watch Terrified. That's a great Spanish horror movie. Tomorrow we're going over When Evil Lurks.
Hay un embichado en el pueblo.
Estás asustando a mi familia.
¡Lo vi con mis propios ojos! ¡Estuve con él!